Most sellers don't break Amazon's rules on purpose. Someone copied a top seller 5 years ago. That seller copied somebody else. And now your listing, or really even an entire category, is built on marketing tactics that are risky, outdated, and about to get you suspended. I call this copycat syndrome. And today I'm going to show you the major new policy that could suspend unprepared supplement sellers, why copycat syndrome is likely hiding in your listing right now, and how to fix it without destroying conversions. By the end, you'll see that the most dangerous line in your listing is probably the one you're most confident about. Ignore this, and you're not just risking a slap on the wrist, you're risking suspension, lost revenue, and weeks untangling a problem that you didn't even know you inherited. Your product isn't the problem, your inherited marketing is. Let's start with a change that's threatening one of the most profitable categories. Amazon just recently announced new enforcement that's going into effect on March 31st for the supplement category. Now, this might sound overly technical, but it has to do with ingredient weight claims. Here's essentially the shift in one sentence. Your ingredient weights are no longer treated as marketing copy. They're treated like regulated labels because they are. For years, sellers have used equivalency math. 500 milligram extract, marketed as 10,000 milligrams of turmeric equivalent. This tactic converted, so it spread, so everyone copied it. That era is coming to an end. Amazon now expects that every single ingredient weight on your supplement listing, title, bullets, images, A+ description, etc., to match your supplement facts panel exactly. Not equivalent, not derived from, not technically accurate if you squint, exact match. If your label says 500 milligrams extract and your listing leads with 10,000 milligrams, that's now considered misleading. This isn't semantics. Enforcement is going to be automated. Now, this is going to blindside a lot of good sellers because they are not necessarily intentionally trying to break any rules. This is why the copycat syndrome can be so sneaky. Most sellers didn't invent this kind of mathematical claims. They borrowed them. It worked, so it became best practice. And the more copied a listing is, the more likely that what you're copying is outdated. So here is the rule going forward. Your primary ingredient claim must match the exact weight found on your label. I found an article on novadata.io that gives a really great example. You can take a look at this table up here where it shows what the listing claim might be versus what is written on the supplement facts panel, and how sometimes those numbers can get distorted and what may lead to a violation. I will provide a link for this down below so you can use it as a tool as you begin to go through your listings to make sure that they are up to code. Now, I know that it might feel hard to fix this. Maybe you feel like it's going to make your listing less attractive, but fixing it won't hurt your conversions because you cannot convert if you are suspended for making misleading claims. But weight claims are not the only place where copycat syndrome shows up. By the way, if you're realizing that your listing was built on imitation, not intention, you're not behind, you're normal. That's why I'm offering free listing audits. I'll tell you whether your listing is designed to convert or whether you might be suffering from copycat syndrome. Go to marketingbyemma.com/free analysis, or you can find the link in the description below. Now, once you start to train yourself to see copycat syndrome, you can't unsee it. It shows up in disease claims, cure language, missing disclosures, imagery that really toes the line on what is compliant. Here's the framework that I use to be able to spot it instantly. I call it the conversion triangle. Now, the conversion triangle has 3 points. You need to cover all 3 points if you want a listing that is designed to convert and stay compliant so that you can actually continue to sell. You need a listing that is compliant. You need a listing that is accurate, and you need it to be compelling. Accurate and compliant, but boring, low sales. Accurate and compelling but not compliant, you might be suspended or you're at risk of being suspended. Compliant plus compelling but inaccurate, complaints, poor seller reviews, and you're on your way out of there. All three pass with flying colors, and that's what you need to win. But there are 3 landmines that can get in the way. So accuracy, we've spoken a little bit about with the weight claims. Of course, that's not the only area where accuracy is important. When it comes to compliance, there are 3 landmine areas in particular with supplements that you have to be extra careful about. First, disease claims. I know it is so tempting if you know in your heart of hearts, if you've spoken to customers, if you've done the research, and you are confident that this product that you have can help with a disease, it doesn't matter. If you do not have the proper research and certifications, you cannot say it. This is not just about Amazon. These are legalities that you must follow. So you need to be really careful with words like treats, prevents, cures, heals, any sort of overstated promises that, especially if you do not have the credentials for, like guaranteed, clinically proven, recommended by, etc. And then the third landmine is missing disclosures. So if there are any special disclaimers or allergens, this might be unsexy, but it is mandatory if you want to stay compliant. At this point, you might be thinking, but if I stop copying, I mean, clearly the top sellers in my space are doing these things and they're still selling and they're not getting in trouble. So why should I even bother? How can I possibly compete? Fair questions, but here's what copycat syndrome hides. Big claims on their own don't convert, especially if they put you at risk or if they make unfounded promises that customers will eventually see through. Believable claims are where you're going to win the long game. In supplements, it's not about winning one-time customers. It's all about loyalty. With high customer acquisition costs, profitability relies on repeat purchases. Exaggerated promises, assuming you don't get flagged or suspended, may win a customer, but it won't help you keep them. Copycat syndrome teaches us the wrong lesson. Follow what worked for somebody else and it will work for you. Not true. You might get short-term clicks, but you're building risk and sacrificing long-term trust. The brands who win aren't hoping to slip through the cracks. They are confidently compliant conversion machines. Here's the new formula: legal, persuasive, and designed to convert. 1. Lead with the problem, not the promise. Instead of cures arthritis, which is all kinds of red flags, right? Tired of stiff, achy joints? This isn't just about compliance. This is also giving you the opportunity to relate to the problems that a customer is experiencing that is driving them to a solution on Amazon in the first place. Step 2 is use structure function claims with emotional language. Now, structure function claims are a technical term that explains how you can properly talk about a cause and effect relationship related to health items. This is not just about supplements. The beauty category is also an area where this shows up a lot. So you don't want to say treats high blood pressure, which again is creating a compliance issue for you. Instead, you can say supports cardiovascular health. Now, you may feel that you are weakening your statements by using language in this way, but the alternative is playing a risky game that could get you into trouble, not just with Amazon, but with regulatory government bodies. And number 3, obsess over transparency, and tell a story about it. So instead of just a sterile list of certifications, frame your proof as a story. So, for example, every capsule is third party tested for purity, sourced from farms that have been growing turmeric for generations, certified GMP and non GMO, because we know it matters that what's on the label is exactly what's inside. So, it's really just helping to create some more emotional resonance with your customers. So, you're not just giving them a lot of dry, sterile information and a list of features that is going to fail to communicate why it matters. So notice that with all of these three things, we are building that compliance, that credibility, and that emotional resonance, which is all necessary in order to do effective marketing. The brands that survive don't just shout louder or copy harder. They tell the story truthfully and compellingly in a way that's going to be effective for both customers and AI. Now, fixing weight claims and rewriting inherited copy doesn't just protect your account, it creates a trust moat, something that no competitor can copy without also fixing their root problems. And that's where the next evolution of e-commerce comes in. Here's the truth. Copycat syndrome isn't just dangerous for compliance on Amazon. It threatens your ability to stand out and get recommended by AI. In the next video, I'll show you how AI storefronts and ChatGPT style discovery punish imitation everywhere, and why differentiation is more important than ever. So go ahead and click on that video right now. I better see you over there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching.